told to follow your intuition, and so you do. You evaluate every choice or opportunity through the lens of spiritual guidance, and then you wonder why you aren't making progress toward your goals. So could your spiritual guidance be steering you wrong? Or are you misinterpreting the messages you're getting? So I'm going to argue for a third option. Sometimes your brain makes you think you're receiving spiritual guidance, when in fact, it's sending you messages to avoid something scary and hard. Now, I hadn't really thought about this before, but I was doing a live coaching session for my Transform Now Facebook group members, and it came up in discussion. And so, I coached on it, but then I sat down and I thought, I really need to think this through, because this is a sort of interesting concept. And I really do believe that it's has validity. So here's the thing. The oldest part of your brain, the reptilian part of the brain, keeps you safe at all costs. That's its job. And it sees anything new or different as a threat to your life. Even good changes like starting an exercise program, leaving an abusive relationship, beginning to, starting a new diet program, all of these things are perceived as life-threatening because they're different and new. So if something seems scary to your brain, it does everything possible to avoid that change. And that includes making you believe your intuition is telling you to do something that the brain actually sees as unsafe. So let's say that as a spiritual person, I'm assuming you're a spiritual person who wants to make decisions you're somebody who wants to make decisions based on your intuition, and you pay really close attention to the things you feel excited about or passionate about, or opportunities that seem attractive and interesting, right? Because you understand these experiences, these thoughts, these feelings as spiritual guidance, right? As spiritual guidance. And so you often follow such perceived intuitive hits to take action in alignment with that excitement, passion, attraction, and interest. But you're also someone with a goal. Let's just say have a goal to become an author. Okay, something I know something about. Intellectually, you know what actions move you towards accomplishment of that goal. But some of the steps feel uncomfortable and scary. And so if you're really honest, you'll admit that becoming an author seems hard and overwhelming, and you're scared to put yourself and your work out into the world. So to help you feel more secure and confident about undertaking this big endeavor, you actually seek out ways to advance your knowledge of the publishing industry and of writing craft. And that means you sign up for how to write a book and how to get published programs, right? Especially if you feel that your intuition is saying, go on, take that course, right? On one hand, you sincerely believe that you need to know or learn more to become a successful writer and publish a book. It's going to give you more confidence when you know more, right? It's like getting that extra certificate, right? That people are always going for an extra degree, right? And you think your increased knowledge and skill will make authorship easier and less scary and overwhelming. And it could. But on the other hand, you get excited about these programs and feel pulled to enroll in them. And to you, that indicates that you're being spiritually guided toward these programs. You want to follow your intuition, right? And you believe that if you do that, that you're going to achieve your goal of authorship in the easiest and most effective way, because your intuition is going to kind of show you the way to go. And so it makes sense to take the courses, right? Wrong. As a result of following your intuition, your so-called intuition, you end up so busy that with all these courses that you don't actually do any writing. You have no time to write your book. And you effectively avoid all the aspects of becoming an author that seem difficult or scary. So that brings up the question, were you actually following your intuition, or were you succumbing to your brain's strategy to keep you safe when you signed up for these courses? Probably the latter. Let me explain. As long as you believe something is difficult or scary, You align yourself with your brain, you align your thoughts and your beliefs with your brain's fear, not your fear, your brain's fear. Basically, your brain convinces you that there is something to fear. And as a result, you do exactly what your brain wants you to do. You find ways to avoid making changes in your life that might put you in harm's way. In this case, you find lots of courses to take that stop you from writing and publishing your book, even though you're learning how to do that. But you don't have time. So being too busy to write your book is a strategy for keeping you safe, is it not? It effectively keeps you from publishing and becoming an author. And it stops you from playing big and becoming visible and allowing people potentially to judge you and your ideas. So if your so-called intuition hits lead you to decisions that keep you safe, those hits are not coming from spiritual guidance. And I'm going to repeat that. If your so-called intuitive hits or spiritual guidance lead you to decisions that keep you safe, that make sure that you're not doing the things that are hard or scary, then those hits are not coming from spiritual guidance. They're coming from your brain. Your spiritual guidance system cares very little about safety. In fact, on a spiritual level, you know you're always safe and your soul never dies. There is nothing to fear, right? So it makes sense that your intuition guides you towards whatever is for your highest good, even if accomplishing that goal seems hard or scary. It's always going to push you towards the thing that helps you grow. And, and it's really true that sometimes the things that are most difficult and frightening, the actions or goals that make us the most uncomfortable, are the ones that our soul chooses for growth and contribution. It's how we advance ourselves on a spiritual and a human level. So if you're avoiding something because it's hard or scary, it's likely that your intuition is leading you towards that. And your brain is trying to stop you from doing just that. So by now, you probably realize that your brain disguises your fear or discomfort as spiritual guidance. It wants you to believe that you're being spiritually guided away from from what your intuition actually wants you to pursue. You can see that learning to discern what's truly spiritual guidance is super, super important, right? If you don't, you'll find yourself doing everything possible to avoid actually following your intuition. Kind of crazy, right? So how do you know when you're receiving spiritual versus brain guidance? So I can think of 5 ways. The first is to identify what you're avoiding. So identify what you're avoiding or what feels scary, overwhelming, hard, uncomfortable, what takes you out of your comfort zone. So for instance, if you want to become an author, but you aren't writing consistently, you're avoiding writing. Okay, number 2 is identify why you are avoiding whatever it is you're avoiding. What's the reason you're avoiding taking action? Obviously, the answer is that the activity makes you feel scared and overwhelmed and like it's too difficult or uncomfortable. And that's your brain talking, by the way. And you don't want to experience any of those things, right? So you're avoiding them. Okay, number 3, identify how you are avoiding. What activities are taking up your time, or what other things are you focused on instead of your goal, the goal that you were or action that you were intuitively led to? So in our example about authorship, too many courses are getting in the way of writing and publishing. Okay, number 4, determine if what you're avoiding is the thing you were intuitively guided toward. Determine if the thing that whatever you're avoiding is the thing you were intuitively guided toward in the beginning. So why do you aspire to achieve this certain goal? Why do you have this aspiration? Maybe you chose to write a book because you felt becoming an author would allow you to fulfill your purpose and to be of service, right? And your soul kind of pushed you in the direction of that aspiration, that goal, and you followed your intuition with very little hesitation initially. It was only later that the aspiration began to feel big and risky. And that is a sure sign that you were on a spiritually guided path at the start, but your brain started to convince you that it was a bad idea. And number 5, realize that excitement, passion, interest, and excitement, I said excitement twice, and attraction are not necessarily signs of spiritual guidance. Review your past. Look back over your past and identify times when you jumped right into something, like the writing the book example. You just knew that was what you were, you knew it was right for you. You didn't question. You followed your intuition and it all worked out. Even if it didn't work out, it all worked out because you grew and you learned and you expanded your consciousness. You became a different person. You moved along on your life's journey. So notice that such decisions have a different quality. When you made those decisions, you weren't just excited and passionate and interested and attracted to that goal or aspiration. You just knew it was the next step for your highest good, right? Okay, I guess I have 6. I thought I had 5. So 6 is realize that overthinking is a brain trick. A brain trick. Overthinking is a sure sign that your brain is operating on high gear to stop you from pursuing a spiritually guided opportunity. So too many thoughts about what you should or shouldn't do, or, just when your brain chatter, your mental chatter gets going, and should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I do it? Should I not do it? And you're overthinking. You have all these thoughts. That's a sure sign that your brain is trying to steer you away from something, not toward it. It seems like you're being steered towards something, and you can feel as if, or interpret that as spiritual guidance, but it's not. So keep an eye on your mental chatter. If it's in high gear, telling you things like you're going to miss out if you don't do this, or when are you going to learn to follow your intuition, just do it, you can pretty much rest assured that you're not being spiritually guided. You are totally in your head, and your brain is trying to guide you. It's doing what it can do to keep you safe, and it wants to keep you from doing something else. So keeping all of that in mind, you can more easily discern. If you take these steps, you're going to be able to more easily discern when your brain is trying to disguise its fear, as spiritual guidance. And you're going to know when your intuition is guiding you forward, or your brain is trying to keep you stuck where you are. So, like I said, this was a new concept for me. I just kind of downloaded it during coaching, and I thought it was worth sharing and exploring. I 100%, like I said, believe its validity. And I would love to know whether you can tell the difference between brain guidance versus spiritual guidance, whether you are now able to see when your brain is actually pushing you away from something that feels scary and hard, but is actually where spiritual guidance is telling you to go. So tell me in a comment down below. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I am a certified high performance coach and an intuitive transformational catalyst, which means I love to help people get from where they are to where they want to go by getting them out of their own way, by helping them learn to be the type of person who can do the types of things that are necessary to create what they want. I believe that we are all powerful creators. We just too often create what we don't want rather than what we do want. And when you become more conscious of that fact and you begin to do the internal work on yourself, then you begin to change on the inside and you can create on the outside. I offer personal and spiritual growth, which I would call transformational coaching. And I do this, I do group personal and spiritual growth and coaching and group spiritual trainings inside the Inspired Creator community. The link's up above. Feel free to click if you would like to step into being the type of person who can do the things that help you create what you want, help you create what you desire. If that's of interest to you, as I said, click on the link above. I'd be honored to be your coach and to lead you on this journey, which is mine as well. The more we can create what we truly desire, the more we live a soul-aligned life, what I call a life that feeds our soul. So if that's of interest, click on the link above. And until I talk to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.